In this text string beginning on January 1st, 2023, Nesto tells Sonya about his time at Cobb County Jail before being moved to Fulton County. Nesto reveals an encounter he had with a gang member that shook him to his core. He also talks about other events that are, in my opinion, heinous and disturbing. They have been edited out of the text string on this video. I ended the reenaction up until Nesto's birthday on January 9th, 2023. Please note that I have recorded the text in the order they were processed. If you would like to follow along with the actual transcripts, please head over to Phone Calls from Prison and join their Patreon. So it may sound like Sonya is ignoring his retelling, but his total story does not get to her until January 4th. 3 days later, there is a time delay either due to the length of the text or Nesto waiting for money to be put on his books. Let's get started.
Happy New Year. I'm really glad you came to see me. I hid my face, but to be honest, I was trying to hide the fact that deep down on the inside, my soul is being tormented with the haunting memories. About a week after my first initial move to the quarantine dorm, I was moved again into regular general population. I thought originally that I would be classified with older gentlemen, whereas by then I would be moved into a cell house with smooth gentlemen in my said age group. But sadly, I was in for a highly intolerable, rude awakening. I was greeted with troubled young men of all kinds walking around terrorizing each other and creating and causing all kinds of obscenities. The officers that worked the floor were no different than the inmates. The language used between one another as well as towards the inmates was horrible and just outright disrespectful. I had never seen so much racial injustice come from blacks in such a manner in the 58 years I've been breathing. Blacks with power treating each other like less than dogs. I placed in a gutted out cell with 4 different gang members, each belonging to a different organization. These guys were ruthless. Extortion of other inmates, stabbings, beatings, you name it, it happened. Drugs of all kinds, and so much of it, it was like being at a dope house on the street. These young guys beat an older gentleman so bad I uncovered my own eyes in horror. When I looked, I couldn't even tell if he was still alive. The officers did little to nothing to save or help the gentleman. Stepped right over him, as a matter of fact. They waited till 5 o'clock head count to get him some real help. One of the troubled gang members I found out after suffered from mental health issues. Moved from another floor because of his erratic behavior. He only was placed back in the same environment yet again where he could do his own hard spitting. More damage. I hate to say it, but unfortunately, I had my own encounter with these young men. I believe that my appearance at the time led them to believe that I was weak and homeless or on drugs. I hadn't shaved and my hair looked crazy, and also I'm very quiet and reserved. I was totally out of my element in their eye. I watched new inmates come in the dorm and order these big bags of commissary items just to be plotted on by gang members and then later be beaten and robbed for their store goods. I decided to place small orders when it came to my own commissary items so that I wouldn't draw attention to myself. Every day I prayed to God, day and night, to help me protect myself from harm's way. It baffled me how I watched people destroy their cells or the dorm shower to get scrap pieces of metal or something sharp to make knives with. I seen knives the size of measuring ruler damn near. Every so often they have shakedowns where especially trained officers come in the cell house and strip everybody to their boxes, sometimes eventually naked, to search inmates for weapons and other contraband. They would search our rooms as well. It's sad to say that with all the special training that these officers have, that they still fall short of fully removing these dangerous weapons and drugs from the dorm. When they are finished conducting their search and leave, all hell breaks loose again. I didn't even tell about my worst encounter. At the time of this encounter, I was just getting over an excruciatingly painful stomach virus that I believe came from the improper handling of the cold food and the trays that the food sat on that are not always properly clean and sanitized. One of the heads of the different gang organizations in the dorm noticed that I was weak still. And he took me for bait. I know this is crazy, but anytime I move around in the dorm or rest outside of my room, I make sure I always position myself in front of the camera in the dorm. It was the only way I knew I had some sort of eye in the sky besides God's own to protect me. I was playing solitaire alone by myself, minding my own business, when suddenly out of the blue, wham, I was blindsided by a blunt force object. Completely dazed, I had to be helped up off of someone else's sleeping boat that I tripped. and fell over due to the overcrowdedness of the dorm by a bystander. I didn't know this yet, but at the time I was a target for gang initiation. Anger began to flash over my body. The same anger I had felt every day. Once again, I had to bottle up. I had to be rational minded, being that weekly and monthly charges are being added onto me and taken off and added again to keep me from making bond. I had no choice but to lay down to the opposing forces that chastised me. It was either retaliate and face being killed or being stuck behind bars for the rest of my life or bite the bullet and live to fight another day. Love you. I love you.
I love you more.
So I waited until the female officer working my floor came in to do her hourly round. When she walked in, I let her know what happened and tried to stand in view of the guy who assaulted me. She listened and did absolutely nothing. So I anxiously waited until the next morning shift to notify another male officer. His response mortified me. He told me he didn't give a damn and that I was lucky that he didn't send me to the 6th or 7th floor where I could face being stabbed every day. Don't forget to ask him about the lady lawyer because my time is running out soon.
You're good. Good morning, handsome man. I love you. Missing you so much. I love you. I think my issue is I feel like I'm in a relationship with you, and when I entertain another man, I feel like I'm cheating on you. I was in deep thought last night and yesterday, and I'll be in this place until you get out. I feel like my life is on hold. I hear you, though. Seeing where we go. I know you love me, but to what degree? Since April 2022, I've had no interest in another. Ever encounter was just a waste of time. I'm changing my phone number when you get free. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to hold you. In my mind, your mind. When I say I'm single, I feel like I'm lying. How did we get here? Meant to be. I love you more today. Almost there.
I sat for another month, and in that time, I paid close attention to the staff and the inmates. I stayed quiet and I listened, and I concluded that Fulton County Jail was truly being ran by gang members. Also, that certain staff members of the jail are affiliated with these guys in some sort of way as well. Here's another kicker I figured put the true reason why I was placed at no bond status.
Not cheating on you. Missing you. Miss your body. Miss your soft lips. Love you more today.
Over time, I started to notice something weird going on. There were guys in the dorm who I knew for a fact either had no bond or seriously high bond amounts, were being tested for COVID-19 and then given a physical, then they would disappear. I watched that happen about 30 different times. Then one day I was called to be tested and was given a physical as well. During my physical, the doctor apologized when he seen my name on the medical paperwork. He realized I was the guy who put in the medical request I told you about from 2 months before about my legs. I was swabbed for COVID and blood tested for DNA. I was also given what I thought was an eye test at first, but later learned that it turned out to be retinal scan technology to see if I was connected to any other crime. Rumors were being spread throughout the dorm that Fulton County has started sending inmates to other jails to help relieve the overcrowdedness in their own jail. After hearing that for myself, I made the decision to call you to inform you that if you hadn't heard from me, that Fulton County probably moved me to another jail. It's about 2 weeks before I was transferred. I remember waking up in the middle of the night to what sounded like someone screaming for their life. Now, get this. A lot of the doors to the cells in my dorm were either broken or rigged by inmates so that they could come and go in their rooms as they pleased, as well as never locked down. This made certain people vulnerable to dangerous things happening to them at any time. So here I'm hearing a man scream for his life when I finally decided to take a look out my window to see what was going on. I had no idea that what I was about to see was going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
I redacted the last part of this text. It is not suitable for YouTube, and some may find it triggering. If you want to read the full text messages in their entirety, please head over to Phone Calls from Prison's Patreon and join.
There was another gay guy that I'm guessing the trans guy was cool with. There was another older man who slept on a boat in the middle of the floor of the day room. The man stayed on the boats for weeks and would only get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Other than that, he wouldn't move at all. There came a point where it was like his body moved before his mind did, and he began to shit on himself. He would sit in it like an infant child who couldn't fend for its own self. It was like he gave up his mind and checked out. The smell became so unbearable that the two homosexual guys started to try and help the man, being that no one else, not even the officers, would pay him any attention. The only time he was ever acknowledged was when the food trays would come in the dorm and the younger guys would try and steal his food. The homosexual males would make attempts to bathe the old man and get him new clothes and sometimes even feed him. I believe the special attention that the older gentleman was getting made the head gang member guy I was telling you about earlier jealous. This, as well as a conglomerate of things, could have led up to that huge fight on the rec yard. After the head gang member was moved to the hole, the officers moved the older gentleman into the now open cell. They locked him in there for days because of his stench. The only time they would open his door was for a head count and to feed. But even then, they still failed to be consistent. Every time they would open his door and then fully close it back, the door would malfunction to the point that it would take 3 officers to force the door open. This came from the rigging of the door by the gang members. When things finally started to calm down and over the next few days, I finally started trying to get some sleep in the middle of the night. Then one night I was sleeping when all of a sudden I was woken out of my sleep to my name being called by an officer. I was told to pack my things. I was being transferred to Cobb County Adult Detention Center. Good evening. I just want to let you know I appreciate you so dearly for supporting me at these difficult times. I just got through reading one of my mentor's books, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Can you please send me that picture of me and him as well as the picture of me and Steve Harvey signing my t-shirts? Oh, and the picture with Kevin Hart with the red Jeep, as well as the rest of the celebrities I have to truly buckle down and stay focused on the reality of helping kids to build their future. Please send those to me tonight so I can receive them tomorrow. I love you very much and keep your head up.
Good morning, handsome man. I love you. Call the attorney now. What happened? You never showed up for conversation with attorney. Call me. I love you more every day. Always here for you. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, babe. Babe. Because it's your birthday. Happy 58th. Hottest old man ever.
Thanks, my love.
Okay, I will stop here. If you enjoyed this reenactment and want more, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and leave a comment below. And again, another shout out to Phone Calls from Prison for allowing me to use this content. You have been awesome. And folks, don't forget to subscribe to their channel if you have not already. Working on the next upload. I will chat with you guys later. Bye.